Hi, my name is Ben and welcome to Angling For You. Today what I'm going to do is fish a bit of meat and hemp down the edge. I'm going to go through the bait and sort of the rig that I'm using today, and we'll give it a go. This rather grim looking concoction that we've got here is not chopped through a riddle, through a meat cutter. I've just pulsed it slightly in a blender, and then I've soaked it, and to get majority of the fat off it I've soaked in water, and then I've taken it out, frozen it, and taken it out back out into water, and that ensures it all sinks, and also it's tries majority of the fat comes off it. I always use chopped ham for this, because it's softer. I usually get mine from Lidl, to be honest. Yeah, so on the hook what I tend to use is polony, so I've just cut it in some slices. Got an 8mm punch, really simple, just punching that out of the meat, and that's giving us sort of an 8mm size punch. And what we're doing there is obviously the depth of the pellet or the punch that you want, it depending on how you slice the polony. The rig I've got is Press and Jura green, which is about 8 to 10, and then we've got an inline small 0.3 margin float, and that's got a number 9 just underneath it, followed down to a small bulk of number 8 just before the hook link, which is 8 inches of 0.15, and the main line is 0.17. I've got a little telltale shot which is about an inch away from the hook, which is a number 14, and that's really simple sort of rig. What we're trying to do is we're fishing on the deck. I've come up sort of half an inch, just so if the fish are wafting the bait about a bit, they'll tend to pick it up. I'm fishing down to my right, and what I've done is thread 3 pots of that mixed in with a bit of hemp. I'm just going to roll the hook onto that piece of meat, and I'm going to feed a little bit of this meat in the cad pot. Always make sure you either wipe it on your leg or you wipe it onto your cloth, because meat can get all over your pole and it does degrade your elastic. So if you've done a session with meat, always a good idea to clean down your pole with warm water, or your elastics, all that kind of stuff, because it will degrade the elastics. So what we're going to do, we're not bang on the edge, because it's only probably about 3 inches deep. So we've just come out a couple of foot, and we're just going to tap that meat in first, and then I'm just going to lower that rig in. May start to get a few small fish to start off with, but usually the bigger fish will move in onto the meat. Important when you fish any sort of margin or any sort of area where you're going to be probably bigger fish, is just to lower that in, that meat in, or whatever you're fishing with, in quite slow. Taking your time, keeping your eye on this elastic. Just working the fish back in front of the peg, so we can get back onto that top kit. Just let it have a swim around. If you need to, you can always feed it back some elastic. Feels like a nice fish. Just hugging that bottom at the moment, not ready yet. This is why we have the puller kits, to supply that little bit of pressure onto it. It's a nice fish. Alright lads. And go on the top. There's in the net. So fishing those the meat down the edge and produce lovely fish like this. Let's get him back in and see if we can catch another. I've just cooked in a bit of feed. It's important when it's this time of year. We're sort of looking at 2 fish and then a cupping. But if they're quite decent fish, then possibly after every fish. But I am feeding with the cad pot as well, so I went straight away. So what I'm doing is I'm catching 2 fish, but on every fish I'm putting a small amount in. If they're decent sized fish, then I'll put a cad pot in after them. It's just to keep them interested, and most big fish, they're not usually on their own. They normally come in 2s, 3s, or in this case probably a lot more, but we want to keep those fish going as long as we can possibly can. It's not the cheapest method, and not a lot of venues allow you to use it, but it is very effective, and that's why I try to take the most of the fat, that content, off the top of it, so I'm not scumming up the water. So at least having that is a bit better, even if you are fishing still with meat which is high protein and high fat content. At least I'm trying to take a bit of that fat. Into another fish now. Trying to guide it. Let's swim and try to guide it into in front of us, so we can get on those rollers. Not particularly big fish this time, but a nice one to end on. Just inside the mouth. Go. And get this one back. Well, I hope if that shows you sort of how much of a deadly method it is. And thanks for watching. Check out all his other YouTube videos and his Facebook group. Tightlands.